I'm Angie Austin with Oil and Gas 360, and we're here at Entercom's 2019 Oil and Gas Conference, and we are joined by Doug Bailey. He is the CEO with Renewable Energy. Welcome, Doug.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the Razor model. It differs from many of the operators here at the Oil and Gas Conference. So could you explain what Razor's doing for those who are less familiar, and what about your assets makes this strategy work for Razor?
Sure. Well, Renewable Energy was founded in early 2017. We had a professional mandate at that point in time to look for legacy assets. Legacy assets that have been around for a while, maybe neglected, maybe non-core to bigger operators, and find value within that from a focus standpoint with a new team. I think we've been very successful in doing so. Our first acquisition was in Swan Hills, Alberta. Our second was in Kaybob, Alberta, both of which the viewers may or may not know where exactly those are. Those are basically an hour and a half northwest of Edmonton, Alberta, which is a population of about 1.5 million. So these are not in the bush, not certainly inaccessible, year-round access, lots of light oil in place, and a lot of opportunities that a focused team can bring to bear.
Now, Razor instituted a regular dividend last year, so why is it important for you to be returning capital to shareholders in today's environment?
Yeah, there's a lot of philosophies around dividends. I'm a financial person by trade. What I think happens is you can look at a dividend differently than from an organizational standpoint and more on the asset level. The assets themselves are actually very complementary to a dividend strategy. Low decline, very predictable, big oil in place, long life reserves. So we looked at from an asset level feeding up into the dividend policy as one of our strategic rationale to going that way. The second thing is, I think in oil and gas historically, especially junior oil and gas, the investors are in for a very large win or a very unfortunate loss. We wanted to play the middle game. We wanted to provide investors a regular stream of income in an environment that is looking for income type securities. So I think we're hitting the best of both worlds. We I think certainly want to be bigger and support the dividend even more so from a mathematical standpoint. But I think it's the right strategy, again, for our team and our assets.
All right. Now, Doug, in June, the company announced that it received funding from the Canadian federal government through Natural Resources Canada for a geothermal power project. So why did you decide to pursue renewable energy, this kind of project, as an oil and gas company?
Well, it's interesting. Back to my original narrative about what Razor is, that is exploiting legacy assets. One thing about these legacy assets, there's a lot of water and a lot of hot water. So in Swan Hills, for example, we produce about 3,000 barrels a day of oil, roughly speaking. We produce 120,000 barrels a day of water. So there's a lot of fluid moving around. Now, to move the fluid, we expend a lot on electricity costs. So it was almost symbiotic or natural for us to look at different ways to produce the power, and that water itself contained the right elements to do so. So with our partners from the federal government, the provincial government, and some private backing, we're looking forward to building and commissioning a geothermal plant, roughly 3 to 5 megawatts in total power output in Q1 or Q2 of next year. We'll accompany that with a very large natural gas power generation plant as well. So what we're kind of morphing into or evolving into is a total energy story. And again, back to the dividend, this is very complementary to that strategy, but also these legacy assets, again, have a lot more to give than just oil and gas.
That makes sense. All right, so Doug, what's next for Razor? Where do you hope to see the company in the next year?
Yeah. We are actively looking for acquisition partners, both corporately and from an asset perspective. This has been no secret. We are looking to get bigger. So we're looking to the private market for smaller companies that may be stuck, that would like to get some public exposure, some dividend exposure as well. And in the public domain, some partners out there that may be complementary to what our strategy is overall. So acquisitions would be part of the next year picture, so to speak. Also, again, the renewable energy, the power generation will be a part of that as well. So I think next year is going to be quite a more exciting than the last year has been. We've been basically doing a lot of plumbing work. So I think we're going to see a lot of different and interesting actions taking place for Razor in 2018, 2019, 2020.
I know you've been coming here for several years. What do you like about coming to the Oil and Gas Conference?
Well, I like that it's not sponsored necessarily by a bank. or a financial institution. It's an independent sharing of ideas, obviously connecting investors and opportunities. But every time I've come to either Dallas or Denver, there's been a very uplifting, I think, spirit or enthusiasm toward the energy business. Where, sometimes in Canada, maybe a little less so. So we not only enjoy the atmosphere that Enercon brings, but also the opportunity to meet a lot of diverse individuals or investors to partake in telling our story or even partake in investing in our company. So it's been a phenomenal experience, and we hope to have the privilege to continue to come.
Wonderful. Again, Doug Bailey, CEO with Razor Energy, and I'm Angie Austin with Oil and Gas 360. Thanks for joining us.